Deborah Bucher Designs, and I am in Surprise, Arizona. And I'm a retailer for Dixie Belle chalk paint and their silk paint line. And I am I'm liquidating my Wise Owl line. So if you're a Wise Owl fan, I have quite a bit, and it's reduced at 30%. So the link to my website is in the description. I have been working on this a little bit since yesterday. And so what I have done is on the back side of it, this side, I put a coat of the Liquitex. And I know the camera's backwards, I can't help it. And this Liquitex is the clear gesso, so it's important that it's clear because it looks like it's white when you pour it out, but it dries perfectly clear. And it does come in white, it comes in all different colors, so you want to be sure that you pick up the clear. And what it does is it primes your surface, and I always use this when I'm painting or decoupaging on top of canvas. It adds tooth. It gives a transparent matte finish, leaving the ground color unchanged. So, you know, it dried perfectly transparent. This is the same color that the bag started with. It didn't alter the color at all. It's non-yellowing and water resistant when dry. So I think it gives you a really good surface to be painting on or decoupaging on. But it also protects the surface. So the fact that this is a canvas bag that you would be carrying things around, you know, shopping with possibly, or just giving it as a gift to somebody. So that just adds another layer of protection on here. So I did that on the back and I did that on the handles. So those are all ready to go. Then on the front here, I used Dixie Belle Satin Top Coat, and I painted another whole coat of the satin top coat over this whole surface area because we're going to be painting and pulling these colors here out to the edges. And I don't want the paint to get absorbed, or since this is paper, I didn't want it to soak into the paper. I wanted it to sit on the surface. That gives me control of how dark or how light I want the paint to be. So that's what I've done so far. Okay, so I've pulled out all kinds of different colors that are close. They're not perfect matches, but they're close. And so we'll just see how that works out. And I've got a tray here. I'm gonna move this out of the way for the moment. I have a tray here because I'm gonna be spraying water, and I'm gonna put a dollop of these colors on this tray so that some of them I can just mix together. This color is collard greens. I won't be using a lot of it, but there are some darker green, like a khaki green color. And I don't need a whole lot of this, so I think that's probably enough. So pulled out a couple of Mylar stamps that I thought might be kind of fun to put on here too. I'll show you. Here are the stamps that stencils, not stamps, that I pulled out that, you know, just a heart or one of these fleur-de-lis or just a little bit of this lace. So we'll see if that comes in handy or not. We may or may not. And there's not a lot of this blue in there, so I don't need a lot. I'm gonna put this over here on this side. A little bit of the palmetto. Palmetto used to be a color I painted everything in. I mean, for a couple of years, everything I painted was palmetto. I've moved on. That's probably good. We can always add more. And then we've got kudzu. And I think this is a really good match on those greens, especially if I add a little bit of this blue. See, we'll put it over here. We've got more green on there. That's the predominant color. And I think that's it for right now. I did bring out another green that is a really pretty one called English Ivy. But we'll go with what we've got out here right now. So I'm going to move these out of the way and set this back down. And I think we'll start with the easy part. We'll start down here with this color. And that's just a little bit of this kudzu and just a tiny dot of the collard greens. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit and a tiny bit and a squirt of water. And I'm going to be using my French tip brushes. These brushes are one of my favorite brushes. They're great for dry brushing on. I use them for the waxes all the time. And I think for blending on this canvas, they'll work out really well. So really, this two combinations works really great. That's really close. So I'm just going to take a little bit and I'm just going to swirl it around. And I don't want it to be, I don't mind just giving it a little squirt of water. That's why I went ahead and put some top coat on here. And I'm going to just take just the tiniest little bit and spray my brush of the collard green. Going to just tap into that a little bit. I didn't know, honestly, how well this was going to work, if it was going to work at all. I'm going to just take a bit of that green. Oh, that's really good. That works real good. I wanted to have that blotchy look because none of this is solid over here either. And I like that watery kind of look. So I'm really happy with how this is coming along. Give it a little bit more water there. And we'll go back into this green. And it was really important, you guys, to go ahead and put that top coat, the Dixie Belle satin top coat. That was really important to do that. That way my water or my paint isn't just soaking up in there. I got things rolling everywhere here. And I'm going to give it a little squirt because I don't want just a blob appearing on there. And I'm adding some of the darker. And I do want it that mottled color. I am super happy with that. I think because of this brown up here, I think I'm going to just dip into that a little more. And this is pretty wet over here, but it's been protected with the Liquitex and with satin top coat, so it's pretty good. It's in good shape. Okay, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I want to darken it up a little bit on this lower, well, I think I'll go darken it now. I don't think I will let it sit. So I'm just going to pounce that out. And that actually does a good job. I'm happy with that. I think I'll take this clean brush over here and just smooth off the edge where the paper is. Yep, good job. Okay. Loretta, you're mesmerized by the blending? Yeah, it's pretty fun. Looking in the camera, I'm seeing pretty much of a dark line there. So I think I'm gonna spray this one. This one's still relatively clean. I'm just spraying it with some water and see if I can soften that up a little bit. But I got some other things that are kind of like going to move your eye away from that also. Okay, so now we're gonna move over here to the other side. I left a color out here, you guys. I left out that pretty blue. Before I move over there, I'm going to squirt my brush because I want it good and wet, and I'm going to squirt that because I don't want a whole bunch of it. But I do want some. And there, that's the only place it's like that lower end has a little bit of the blue. So I'm just going to let that sit just like that. And now we'll go over here to the other side. Okay, so we're going to start down here on this end, and that was a little bit of this green and a little bit of this one and a squirt of water. And if you came on late, this brush that I'm using is the French tip brush. These are great brushes. I use them for so many things. But for this kind of process, they couldn't be any more perfect. And I may have one left in stock. I need to get an order placed. And we've got some of that brown in there, so I want to just dip into that a little bit. And again, because I've protected this with the top coat, I can just, that was a really important step, you guys. So if you are going to do this project, I suggest that you rewatch this, and I'm going to have to get it loaded up on my YouTube because, you know, Facebook dumps everything off now. But that's an important step. I need to mix up a little bit more. So a little bit more of this. That's the palmetto. This one up here is the kudzu. And a little more water. And I'm going to use the same process on the back of the bag. Only the back of the bag is going, the whole thing is going to be this process. Thanks, Molly. I appreciate that, you guys. I really do. I was a little bit nervous because I've blended things before, but this is, you know, this is a little bit different blending than I've done too. And so I gave it some thought. I looked at my colors carefully. And fortunately, there's a lot of blending of colors on here. I'm going to pick up a wee bit of this green. And if you get too much, like I don't want to cover up her pretty hair there, so I'm just going to, because I've got my top coat on there, I can just wipe that back if I get a little carried away. I'm going to take a wee bit of that blue just for fun because I can. I'm going to give it a little more water because that was more blue than I really wanted. So this is starting to dry a little bit, so, and then we're going back up to the darker green up here. Add a little more. Loretta, a top coat is the Dixie Belle Satin Top Coat. Dixie Belle has 3 different top coats. They have a glossy, high gloss. They have the satin top coat, which is very low sheen. And then they have a flat. And I can't even remember when I've ever used the flat. But for decoupage, I always use the satin top coat, and I've used the satin top coat in the, like after she was all decoupage today before I started, I put another coat of satin top coat over the entire bag to protect this, so that as I was blending these colors into it, I would have more control over the blending. That way the paint isn't soaking directly into the bag. It is, but it gives me control. Like you've seen me go back and wipe back a little bit. And that's because I've got that satin top coat on there as a protection. And it's the same thing that you put on furniture when you're doing furniture painting. So when you've seen me doing the furniture that I've been working on in the last 6 weeks, I'm always using the satin top coat on that also. And that's what I decoupage with. And the reason why I decoupage with it is because it's never going to crack and yellow like Mod Podge will. Over time, Mod Podge is going to crack and yellow on you. And this never will, because this is formulated as a top coat for like on your furniture. And I just want to dab a little bit. Okay, so when I'm looking up in the camera, I can see pretty much where those lines are, but when I'm looking at it straight on here, those lines blend in pretty good. I mean, I'll have to look at it again tomorrow just to see. And I'm going to paint the same thing on my handles up here, but for the moment I'm going to give it a quick dry. I think I want to just wipe this back a little bit. See, if I hadn't put that top coat on there, I wouldn't be able to do this. Because remember, this is just paper under here. I don't want to rub, so I'm just patting it back because there was just a little too much over on her hair. better. Okay, so glad you could join us, sweet lady. Okay, so I'm going to go back to drying. And I'm going to take this fleur-de-lis here, right there, and I think I'm going to put it like right there. And I think I'm going to do it with gold. Let's see. Well, this is Byzantine. So I'm just going to put the tiniest amount. This is a powder form. I'm probably not completely in the camera here. Let's see. I'm just putting the tiniest amount in there. And I'm going to take a little bit of my satin top coat. And I'm going to mix it up with that powder. And then I'm going to get one of my little pouncing makeup brushes here. And I'm going to get this off of the end of my stick. I'm just pouncing away on it, and I'm going to put it over here down in this corner, like right there. I'm just going to pounce up and down. I don't want it to be like standing out. I just want it to be very subtle. And this gold powder is WooduBend Posh Chalk. And I like it because it is a powder and I can just mix up however much I need. I don't have to have a whole bunch mixed up all at one time. Oh, that looks good. I went over my pattern just a little bit, so let me see if I can wipe that back. Yep. It's pretty light for you guys to see it, but let me move it up into the camera. I don't know if because it's gold and it, oh there, that's better. Okay, so now you can see that better. Just a little here and there, and that helps move your eye away from seeing, you know, a difference in the medium. So, hey Melissa. So I'm going to add a little bit more of that, because I like how that effect was. You see it? Cool. I don't want it to be like screaming at you. I can see it real clear, but the way the light's reflecting, that might make it hard for you guys. Okay, so I'm just mixing up a little bit more here. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use, let's see. I want to use a little bit of this pattern. So I think I'll use a little bit of this pattern like up here. I want it to be real random. I don't want it to be I want it to be random. Okay, so, and again, I'm just pouncing up and down. And it's going to be like, that's perfect. It's like it's been there, but now it's just kind of worn off. So I think I want to do that same thing over here. It definitely is random looking and looks like it's just worn over the years. See how it kind of fades off? And I think I'll do that one fleur-de-lis up here. So I just have some of that powder mixed up with a little bit of the I just went blank. A little bit of the top coat. Pretty. And I think a little more, just an edge of this. Yep, I like that too. And I think I'll do just a little edge down there. I think I need a little bit more mixed up. And it's just a powder form in here. And I'm literally just mixing it up with a little bit of the top coat on my lid. I don't want it to have like a balanced look. I want it to be off balance. So I think I'm just going to do a little tiny bit right there. And so, you know, whatever stencils you've collected over the years, just take a portion of it and just add it on. I'm going to do just a tiny little spot of it. And I think also just by doing this also takes your eye away from the line that we've got on here. Okay, I think that's enough. Enough of that. Oh, Ryder's watching. Well, give Ryder a squeeze for me. Sweet boy. Okay, so I am super, super happy with this, you guys. I think I'll just put just a dash more brown. Just ever so slightly. Okay, I'm super happy with that. So you guys, I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to go back over it tomorrow with another coat of satin top coat, and this is done. Done, done, done. I think she's so pretty. I'm looking in the camera and it's like, boy, I just love her. Okay, so for the back side, and I think that group of colors worked out really good. When I'm looking at this, I'm like, boy, that matched up with the paper really well. Okay, so for the back and for the handles, my suggestion is just to do the same exact thing, just like, you know, just blend it all in through the whole back side of it. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the camera up. Hello. Okay, so what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to come back live tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I know that's not my usual day, but there's a reason for it. I want to finish this bag, so I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the back part of it tomorrow. And then I am going to put a Harlequin on the back of this bag. Only on the other bag that I did the Harlequin on, I don't have it in here. On the other bag, I did a small Harlequin. This one I'm going to do a bigger Harlequin on. And when I do that, it'll have all that mottled color on there. But the Harlequin I'm going to do in the gold like we just pounced on. So that's how I'm going to finish the back and the handles.